lecture from Bonn. Then we have Cologne with the famous cathedral, and the picture on the bottom is Hanover. All these cities have large universities and large laboratories, and in all these, so if you want to show the quality in the laboratory, you are calibrating your systems, you are using probably an internal quality control, but also there are ways to show your performance by external quality assessment schemes, and that's what we want to show you today. In Germany, we have to fulfill requirements so that we are allowed to do that job. And so the requirements are written by the accreditation. So we are accredited according to 17043. This is a standard, an international standard for proficiency testing providers. And the second requirement say you are right or you are wrong. So we have more than 15 employees, and so they are from the laboratory and all financial and all these things. But in addition, we also have more than 40 scientific advisors. They are working on a voluntary base, and they are expert in the field of laboratory medicine. They are expert from different kinds of fields, and I will go and show you something about that in later slides. We are offering round about 130 different survey schemes, so different topics are addressed, and overall in these schemes we are summarizing more than 730 analytes. So you all know that there are even more analytes in the laboratory measured, and they are very seldom sometimes. But I think these 730 analytes are the most important ones we are using in the laboratory worldwide. So we have more than 7,000 participants per year that are participating in our schemes, and round about 20% of them are from all over the world. So most are from Germany, since that's the country where we started, but since that time we are getting more and more people from all over the world, from South Africa to the US and so on. And in total we are shipping 130,000 parcels per year. So I think Ulla will show you something about that later. Oh, that was the wrong side. So these are the different fields of laboratory medicine. We are offering surveys for you. So I had to learn that the screen is damaged on that one position, so always the letters drop down. So we divided them to give a bit, not enough, then I will speak louder. So we have infection serology, drug screening, and also the qualitative measurements of clinical chemistry. Then in the next part, we have surveys in the field of direct detection and characterization of infectious pathogens. So the screening surveys, some of these are on. So Ulla will show you something about this virtual testing or this virtual surveys. I think that's quite interesting since it's easy to handle and to look at, and also different virtual, different antigen detections and so on. So the program is online, and we will see how to find that in a later presentation of Ola. And last but least, we have the chapter of the molecular genetics, and at the moment it's summarizing surveys to the topics I have mentioned here. So next generation sequencing, DNA isolation, and circulating ctDNA. So these are a bit of our scope, not a scope, of our program, and how to find them we will give you guidance in the next one. That's in brief the way how a survey is running. There's a pathway, and first of all you have to start with a registration. We've got your name and the address where to send the samples to. After that we have to look for samples that are of use. So sometimes we are buying samples from famous manufacturers. Sometimes we are producing them by ourselves. Some of these samples are very stable, and we send them in a lyophilized form, so that you have to put water on the sample to reconstitute the sample, and then you can use it like serum. But on the other hand, we have also samples that are very unstable. So we have to send them directly to the laboratory and have a very short period of survey to get the results back. So we ship the samples to you, to the participant, and then the survey starts. And you have a certain period, time, where to measure these samples. So this is your active part in the game. And after the deadline, we summarize all your results and we start the evaluation. And we have a look who is very close to the target value, what kind of method and what kind of manufacturer you're using. And so we can see, is there a good result and it's in agreement with overall participants, or probably in agreement with the target value, or whether there is a lack of precision or accuracy. So if you're successful, then you will get a certificate, and all the evaluations and certificates will transport to you, of course, by internet. And after the certificate, the survey is not ended up. Very often we have contact to our participants, we get a feedback, or I did not receive the correct samples, or how can I interpret the results of my laboratory. And so you can contact us and we will answer your questions, we will discuss them with you, or we will contact a scientific advisor, so that we have the connection to these people to give you more. So in sum, our mission is to improve quality infrastructure is the sum of quality assurance and patient safety. And we discussed about patient in the program of WHO, and to have these surveys in your laboratory, you have the
participants there have been, the quote of the how many have succeeded, and from sample A and sample B, the statistical numbers. So on the X level, you have the sample A with the unit, and on the Y line you have the sample of the result of sample B, and with both you produce 1 point, 1 dot. 1 dot is the are the results of one laboratory.
So up to now, are there any questions? So we send out the samples to more than you see on the top here. Oh, sorry, I have to go upstairs. We received results from more than 360 participants, And then we look, well, from what laboratory does the result come? Anonymous way, but we know that, for example, around about,
the number of participants using this producer, manufacturer, and this method. It's a peer group, number of the peer group.
And so you have the overall information of all results, but in addition you can divide that. Who is using enzyme etymology, or who is using the Roche, and so on. And that's a way we want to show transparency to the results we receive. So please go ahead.
And so you can see from every participant using every method how they came out, how the outcome was. On the bottom you can see the peer groups with a minimum of the numbers of participants. Everyone is shown somehow in the graphics. Now, well, that's
the screen shows you. So, but up to now, you don't need any registration. You just have to go on the website and go the pathway Ulla has shown you, and you will receive the information about, for example, clinical chemistry, and here in that case for lactate. And if you are interested to another one, I want to stop you.
Anja, why do we differentiate between the different manufacturers?
Well, probably it's shown by a different example. For example, something which is not that well in agreement between the manufacturers. For example, for tumor marker, CR99. Can you show that? So you see, we have up to now, we are offering that survey for tumor markers 4 times per year, and we have sent out the first batch in January, the 2nd in March, and the 3rd in June, and now we have sent out the samples in September. And then if there is the state evaluated, then results can be seen. And probably I can give the answer without any slide. Did you ever have the feeling that dependent on the manufacturer you're using, the results are a bit different for the same patient? So that's the situation for several measurements or analytes in clinical chemistry. For example, if you're looking at CR99, then you will see that we have several manufacturers, Roche, Abbott, Siemens. And depending on the measurement manufacturer you're using, your result is a bit different. So you have to compare your performance with those who are using the same manufacturer. Otherwise, you are comparing apples and yes, exactly. So, and that's the reason why we always deviate the manufacturers and the measurement procedures to show what is the general situation and what is the situation for the laboratory. So, yes.
So once you decided to participate with us, you can register. There's the button to do this. If you click on it, you have to give your informations of contacts. After that, you will get an email from us. You will get your login data and start with ordering your quality controls. Just a second. I log into my account. It's on in the right corner above. And on the first page, you, if you already have ordered some quality controls, you can see what's the current surveys and the former surveys, past surveys, and the upcoming surveys. They are all listed here. The ordering process starts on the top with orders, clicking on orders. You have an overview of the actual or the upcoming year. Now the year 2024 is almost done, and we have placed the orders for 2025. You have different survey categories, and some of them have more than one set, and you can order them individually. You can take only one of them, but you can tell all of them. It's your choice. You have your own individual ordering here. If you want to change something, you go on the in the last line on this symbol, and it shows you how many surveys are provided, and you can choose the one you like. Only by clicking on it, you can have yourself extra samples, but normally it's already ready with one set. You can choose if you want to have an abonnement, a subscription, or if you want to do your yearly order. By transferring your order to the shopping basket, you can see what have changed, highlighted in yellow. After your process is finished, you have made all your changes. You can click on the basket to overview it again. If you're a normal participant, you will see your prices for the next year. Because I'm not a normal participant, I can see it now. You just click here on the button to agree to all our
Terms and conditions.
Yeah. Then you go to on the button order, and it's done. On this place, you have your overviews of the orders and the confirmation of your order. And by clicking on the calendar, you get your personal calendar with all survey periods in a graphic. That's how it went. You know from the first slides, there are special dates of the deadline for the ordering. There's a deadline for the shipment and a deadline for oh, something went wrong here. Yeah. Oh, here we are again. Yeah, and the deadline for the result transmission. After about 4 weeks of the deadline for the result transmission, you will get your evaluation. Per email you will get the information, and with the link on it you can click on your certificate, and all evaluations are behind that button from the year you started until the present. I guess it's a little bit slowly here because that I don't get it by now. Well, because I'm not a normal participant, I don't give results, and so you cannot see my evaluations because there aren't any.
But in general, the results you receive look similar to those diagrams we have shown you before, with the extra that your special dot is marked so that you know these are the results of your laboratory. But in general, you have also very much information, the overall view for the on the website.
As you can see, we have the evaluations for 10 years in the past saved for you, so you can go anytime there and have your results and evaluations for yourself to go to. Yeah. Any questions to the evaluations or ordering process?
Maybe I would like to see for the molecular diagnostic, which test are you providing?
This in surveys, you can go to MG, like molecular genetics.
It's not a secret, it's the screen.
Yeah. Not to forget, we have the program as well on our homepage. If you go to survey program, you can get a PDF with all informations about parameters, dates, prices.
There it is. So, as I probably remember, in the beginning, I have divided our surveys in 4 categories. And in the same way, the program is divided. So we have the quantitative measurements, the qualitative, and in the last section are the test procedures for molecular genetics. So these are those, that's the PDF, and you see that we inform you about the different analytes you can order.
Because there are so many different analytes and they're growing fast, we built 2 groups of it to divide them.
So Ulla,
Yeah.
we have 5 minutes to go, and I think it would be very interesting to go to the virtual surveys
Okay.
to show how we look in real slides on the screen, and you can zoom the pictures very large. Yeah.
There we have some in the former surveys. You can see the preparations of the former surveys still loading, and you get the overview of the results, and you can make your own guess on what sample you on what your result would be on this sample. It's loading still. And compare your own results with the actual result. This is parasites in stool. You have 5 pictures with microscopy images, and you can make your guess on it, what you can see there. This is one, only one from many virtual microscopy pictures, and you have like the mycologie ident, or the urine sediment. We go to the current survey, it's the deadline is next Saturday, and you can still see the preparations. Here you have an overview of the preparation, and on the next slides you have the microscopy pictures, and you can focus with every click on it to more details. You have the different layers and the dark field microscopy picture. You have 5 pictures which are focused, and with every one is the dark field. On the button you have you can make your result. You can choose how many erythrocytes you found by clicking on it. If you found some other things, you can choose them with the drop-down menu. And in the ending, if you are finished, you submit your results. And go to the next slide. You have with the urine sediment, you get 2 slides, and with the cytospin, you also have 2 slides. And the most challenging smear is a differential plot. You can focus more and more into the slide and find the cells on the smear where you want to see them. In the overview, you see where you are, and here with this scale, you can sharpen it or go to another level of the layer.
So these are examples which are of open access for afterwards, after the survey, and these are the surveys where I mentioned in my introduction that they can be used, for example, also to educate your staff and the people. And so I hope we could give you an impression of our work, and we can show how to handle the system, of course not in every detail, but the good news is that we are guests here in Tanzania, and the exhibition the whole until Thursday, so you can visit us, and we would love to discuss with you and show you the details of the of using our website and using our system. So are there any questions to the things we have demonstrated here? And probably we can show you something special at the moment. Otherwise, I would be happy to have your visit on our booth, and so we can discuss that even in more detail.
If you have questions after that, you can contact us on with our email address on info@spmd-rfb.
Yes, and my CEO told me, and he's right, on Thursday we have a presentation, a symposium, and we are happy to welcome our national president of the scientific organization for clinical chemistry, as well as a lot of important guests from Tanzania to give their presentation. And the topic is why it is important to monitor your quality in the laboratory for patient safety. So I would be happy to see you there and to get in contact with you even further. So thank you very, very much for your participation. And if there are any questions at the moment, so please feel free to ask.
Okay.
Okay, thank you very much.
For her, please. Okay, if you have any burning question, we are out of time. We're supposed to first, and then another session that will follow. Any burning question? Because I have one. If you don't, I will ask. Any question? Do you know what's the registration fee for this? Why didn't you ask? Is there any registration fee to
Well, no,
access?
there is no registration fee, and we organize the website in that way that if you are interested in, you can see information without any registration. And if you're interested in participating in a survey, then you can get registered with no fee. And at the moment when we send you some samples, then there would be a fee for the samples and the evaluation.
Okay, for the EQA now, you're supposed to pay for the samples.
Yes, but all other informations are free of charge.
Okay, I know we are using the ISO 15189 here for laboratories, but you mentioned about 17043 if I'm not mistaken.
Well, yes, that's the standard, especially for the EQA providers. For
Okay.
those who are organizing the EQA schemes, and they sending them to the medical laboratories or clinical laboratories.
Okay. I know there are people who are in the lab. Only one question.
Okay, thank you for a nice presentation. Actually, I have a single question. I would like to know what is the, you have mentioned you cover almost 730 tests, but I want to know what is the minimum number of tests to be enrolled in your EQA, and also once the EQ results are off, because you say you work remotely, so how do you help the lab which have failed to attain the minimum clinically acceptable results? Thanks.
Okay, so thank you very much. A very good question. So we show you the survey for clinical chemistry, and we have around about 600 participants altogether, but sometimes we have even less. So in that case, we also display the results, and if there is the number is lower than 4 laboratories for one method, then we cannot evaluate them on a statistical base. And therefore, we are using those, well, for example, if we have the participants using the same manufacturer and there are even 2 laboratories, then we are comparing these results with those who are using the same method. And in many cases, then there's also the way to show comparability. And if not, then we say, well, sorry, there are just 2 participants using these system or these tests, and then we say, well, due to limited value, we can evaluate them on a statistically basis. We cannot change that. But that's the reason why it's even more important to participate in a survey where we have enough participants, so that we can avoid that situation. And for the classic things like clinical chemistry, there are many participants. We have some problems, for example, for special things, but if we are talking about molecular genetics, we collect all the data, and we evaluate them individually. So it depends on the system you're talking about. If you're talking about quantitative measurement, it's different to those qualitative measurements. So we have to separate it. But if you look at the system, you see how we evaluate, and I'm looking forward to receive your questions if there are any. Would be happy.
Thank you very much, Anya.
Thank you very much.
Time is over. Thank you. A round of applause for her, please. I know people will follow you up if you have a booth here.
Yes.
Okay, so for any questions, you can go to their booth. It's an opportunity to be internationally recognized. I think don't waste this opportunity. Thank you very much.
Thank you
And
very
have a
much
seat,
for
and,
your
thank
kind
you all
introduction.
participants for active participation. We're going for tea, mid-morning tea, and it's served in two halls on your left, and the other hall soon after the Kizimkazi. You can have tea in both rooms. There are two rooms. In the main hall, there is a stone hall which is on your left. The main hall is on your right. So on your left, tea is served there. And after this hall, the Kizimkazi hall, the other one, also tea is served in that place. So be punctual. We started a little bit late, about 10 minutes late, so we'll be here back for CSSC forum, which is leveraging private sector to advance health in Tanzania. Come back in 20 minutes. Have a good morning.
Thank you very much for your participation. It was a pleasure to see you. Thank you.